get collector, add route, get. See what I'm doing here? Path, handler. In fact, I want to change this to pattern because it's more of a pattern, right? It's a regex pattern. We can do get, post, put, delete. Oops. As sort of the most common things that we would want to do in our application. I mean, we could add all of the methods here, I guess. But let's go back to our routes. Now we can say get. And drop this stuff out. And this gets us a lot closer to doing something like with Laravel. So we need these. We don't need file any. Well, we do need file still. Get. This gets us a lot closer to Laravel-like code, which is pretty cool. It's a pretty good goal to aim for. So let's restart and see if this works. It still works. That's really cool. So, what have we done today? Well, a few things. Let me close other tabs. Okay, so today we added a dependency injection container so that we can start doing code like this and start accessing stuff or resolving stuff from elsewhere in the application. We also did some optimizations to routes just now to be able to do a lot neater code here. I think that's pretty cool. And what else? Gone blank. Oh, the template engine. We did the template engine as well. So now we're not just rendering plain views, we're rendering dynamic stuff. This is dynamic content. We still obviously need to check if that include is safe or not. Maybe it's not safe. Maybe we need to swap that out with something or do the rendering in a separate process. We also don't have any caching layer other than opcache. It would be great if we had Redis or we had memcache, just something for more industrial in-memory storage, because then we wouldn't even need to do the templates in another process all the time. We could cache the template data in that memory cache, which is pretty cool. But yeah, for now we're rendering templates. We've got template inheritance, we've got a little bit of quality of life stuff, which is looking much better. We have this new container file, and we'll just keep on adding this kind of stuff here so that we can stop referencing. We can stop referencing exact. Goodness, I've got a blank. We can stop referencing fully qualified class names, and we can just reference shorthand things. And this is very close to being able to do something like Laravel's facade interfaces, which is interesting. You know, if we wanted to do something like that, I think a lot of the time that stuff makes this code more succinct, which is cool. Return that. But cool. I mean, we need to do some more doc commenting, I guess. And this becomes like this is very similar to a lot of frameworks that have helper files. I mean, we even called it helper before, that have these shorthand methods. And this is very similar to applications or frameworks that have service provider stuff, or closer to that, where service providers will share instances or bootstrap instances of stuff. So like PageKit or like Laravel. They do that kind of thing. So this is cool. This is looking cool. We could neaten this up by getting a lot more technical in terms of how we structure our application. But for now, I think it's looking okay. Maybe what I'd want to do is package this up nicer so that we can do responses quicker. It would be cool if we could just yield response, and that accepts a view object. Or maybe even it shortcuts that process and it renders the view. We could just say new response and yeah, I'll benchmark now. We could just say new response and that accepts a path and some data and does all this other stuff. Maybe that's what we do. Who knows? I think that would be a nice addition to have. But for now, I think this is looking awesome. I think this is looking really neat. This gives us a good way to just balloon out the application. I was chatting to Aaron as well about what he thought about middleware. I think doing this kind of thing, serving our static files or doing session management would be a good candidate for middleware, where we, in a service provider system, we specify a few different handlers that need to be, that the requests need to run through before it gets to our application code. And in those handlers, we could do session management, or we could do static file serving. So we could maybe set up like a static file server middleware and give it the path and the pattern, and it just does that. So we don't have to do this in our routes file. I think that would be cool. I mean, again, to repeat what I said when we started the static file stuff, a lot of the time you'll use a file server for this. But if you use it through the app, middleware seems like a good candidate for it. So Metanat says benchmark, and I will benchmark. There's a risk if I benchmark that I will drop frames. I hope that's not the case. Let's see, AB. Okay, so concurrency 50 times 60 seconds. Hopefully this doesn't drop frames. If it does, I apologize. Oh, I have a dropped frame thing? No, 0. 0 drop frames so far. Hoping it stays like that. So let's see what this does. I did uninstall Xdebug on one of these. I'm running this through the default PHP instance. PHP igrep Xdebug. Okay, so Xdebug isn't installed in the version that's running the server. I am encoding and transmitting the stream, and that may affect the throughput. In fact, it definitely will affect the throughput because the encoding is quite taxing. I'll empty the trash while we're at it. When I tried this earlier with my scrappy machine while I was doing other stuff, it got to about 400 to 500 requests a second. This seems very low. 112 requests a second, that seems very low. I wonder if that's because of the template stuff. I wonder if this is because of the template stuff that it's only doing 100 requests a second. That's bothersome. Aaron and Stephen were getting ridiculously high benchmarking scores with this. So, I don't know. I'm disheartened by that, actually. I'm sad that you made me benchmark. But it's probably to do with my machine that this is on, or it can be to do with how the templates are being rendered and the fact that they're not being cached at all. They're just being rendered every time. Let's check something else out. PHP igrep opcache, not brew install PHP 5.5 opcache. Okay, let's do an experiment here. PHP v, PHP 5.5 v. Brew search PHP 5.5. Oh, brew list. Okay, so my homebrew version of PHP that's installed is 5.5.30. This version is 5.5.29. Sudo vim. So let me just update the path to this. I wish I knew Vim better. Whatever. I actually don't wish I knew Vim better. So many other things I could be doing with my time. Source CSHRC. Okay. PHP-v php 55-v. Okay, php 55 brew install php 55 eio, php 55 opcache. I will get there eventually. Eventually. Okay, so again, remember I mentioned that EIO is the evented IO stuff, and it's the preferable candidate for doing asynchronous IO stuff, and it's the one that's preferred in Icicle code. And opcache is what I think will speed up doing includes of PHP files. So once these are installed, I'll run the benchmark again, and hopefully the performance will be better. I hope. Otherwise, the way the templates are rendered are a very good candidate for doing this. Otherwise, potentially even looking for a different template renderer. AB. Oh, I need to restart this. PHP 55. Let's just check. But CSHRC. Let's just check that this works by hand. Dun dun dun. Bound. Okay, this appears to work. It appears to work inconsistently though. I'm getting some 500 errors. That's not great. Yeah, I'm getting some 500 errors. That's not great. Okay. Brew uninstall. Uninstall php 55 eio. Control C. Why is this not stopping? Stop, you horrible thing. Spammers! Get lost! Okay, deleting this INI file. Yeah, php 55 index.php could not create server. I need to kill a process. What just died? Oh, Atom just died. Atom? Atom just died? So confused. So confused. I have no idea what's going on. Okay. Let's try our server again. PHP 55 index. No. This is getting frustrating. Tell you what, let's change the port until I figure out what is going on there. PHP 55 index. So we'll start a new server up at 8001. Yeah, 8001, and this is not using EIO, and this is not using EIEIO, and this seems to be a little bit more stable, right? Okay. Let's go back to Apache Bench and run this. And now we wait a minute again. So, The previous count was 112 requests a second, and this was without opcache on a slightly older version of PHP 5.5.